Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. You guys don't need to look far in 2025 to see the impacts of the current ongoing tariff war. Just have a look at some of the biggest brands around the world and you're going to be seeing impacts, layoffs, specifically related to tariffs and tariff related concerns. For example, we've got GM assembly workers facing 700 layoffs amid an ongoing Canada-US trade war. And again, this is not the only company, but General Motors Canada announced last Friday, at the time of obviously the article being written, that it will idle the third shift at its Oshawa, Ontario assembly plant this coming September. Around about 700 production workers will be laid off at the time. Another 1,500 supply chain jobs will also be affected, while simultaneously omitting a more direct reference to the trade war initiated by US President Trump, which he has repeatedly declared is aimed at collapsing Canada's economy and taking it over as a 51st state. The companies nonetheless could not avoid attributing the cutback to the forecasted demand and the evolving trade environment. Now, they're not the only company announcing this. We've got companies like UPS suggesting that Trump tariffs could force them to lay off as many as 20,000 staff. This is really something that we've not seen for quite some time. And again, you can just see all across the markets how this is impacting a lot of different businesses and how it's going to impact livelihoods going forwards. Trump's tariffs are triggering thousands of layoffs at some of the world's biggest companies. So, if we have a look at some brands, mostly they are in manufacturing plants in the Midwest and the East, companies are ejecting workers in the wake of Trump's purported plan to use levies to bring manufacturing back to the country. We've seen Volvo announcing a cutting of 800 workers at its Volvo and Mack Trucks plant in Pennsylvania, Virginia and Maryland. And again, as I have just covered, they are not the only ones doing so. Heavy-duty truck orders continue to be negatively impacted by the markets and the uncertainty around freight rates and demand, possible regulatory changes, and the impact of tariffs, a Volvo spokesperson told Reuters. This really is quite shocking, right? This really is quite surprising, and the impact it's having is obviously really reaching very far. Again, we talked about Stellantis or GM and how they are announcing layoffs. So many brands are cutting back. So we're seeing a steelmaker, Cleveland Cliffs, saying that they are laying off more than 1,200 workers in Michigan and Minnesota in March. General Motors also announcing that they're going to be laying off 200 workers in Detroit. We can go on for quite some time about how many jobs will be lost, but some analysts estimate that ultimately 177,000 jobs in the US could be cut after Trump announced his first round of tariffs in February. I want to just take a minute to think about that. 177,000 jobs lost, potentially because of tariffs. Now, apparently, the tariffs would likely create about 100,000 jobs, whilst also killing up to 500,000 jobs across all industries. Again, we're looking at potentially hundreds of thousands of jobs lost, with only a few created. Then we can talk about the actual cost of stuff, which just brings another element into this, right? This is incredible. This is something like we've not seen in a very long time, if not ever, but it certainly is having its impacts on the market. Let me know what you think, guys, in the comments. Thank you for watching this short video. If you liked it, do give us a like and subscribe, and I hope I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.